Hi there everyone, how's it going? Cap10323 here. Today we're looking at what I think is about an early 70s Panasonic portable cassette recorder. I picked this up from the recycling center about a week and a half ago, and I wasn't even going to make a video about it at first because I really only picked it up because I liked the way it looked. I really didn't care if it worked or not, I just wanted to put it on a shelf and look at it. However, after cleaning it up and using it a little bit, I thought it warranted a video because it's just really nice, especially for something that's this old. As you can see, there's almost no wear on the entire device. You can see there's one small scratch right here on this brushed, I don't know if that's aluminum or steel, small scratch there, and there's one small dent just there in this large perforated speaker grill. I very rarely see grills like this on old electronics that aren't completely destroyed, so this one's really nice. Also, check out that vintage Panasonic logo. When was the last time you saw that on something? As I said, I think this is about early 70s. However, based on other devices I've seen, like the play tape machines, which are similar form factor, and a Sony machine that I used to own, this could very easily be mid-60s. I can't find any date code on the bottom of it, or at least nothing that I seem to be able to decipher as a date code, so your guess is really as good as mine. Basically, all I know about this device is what it says on the label. It is an AC/battery cassette tape recorder, which is pretty self-explanatory. However, it's got a couple neat features that make me think this was a device more marketed towards listening to music than it was dictation. Now, if you don't know, devices like this, especially back in the late 60s and early 70s, were, synonymous with dictation. People had these sitting on their desk with this microphone that was plugged in with a little switch on it, and they'd record letters to be typed, or just notes, or journals, or oral histories, or whatever you want to dictate. Usually it was letters to be typed up by a secretary or something similar. And so these machines were typically slow speed, fairly low quality tape players that really only were used for dictation. However, as I said, this has a couple features which make me think it was designed more for music. It does have the standard dictation microphone connector with the little smaller size remote jack. I'll demonstrate later how that works. And, it looks the part. However, it's got two things. One, on the back, or, well, the bottom, depending on which way you're going to stand it up, I'll show you in a minute, it has feet. Now, it has feet on this side as well, but it has feet here. And to go along with the feet, it has a handle, which pulls out of the top, like that, and you can stand it up, like so, or you can carry it around with you. And the second thing is the speaker. Now, as I said, typically these dictation devices had really low quality speakers. They were very tinny and they sounded about as good as a cheap AM radio. However, this actually has quite a good speaker in it. It's got surprisingly good bass, good mids, and the trebles are not, really overblown and distorted like the dictation machines are. And as you'll hear when I do an audio sample of it, it sounds pretty good. It sounds okay playing tapes using its mechanism to turn the tape around. However, if you plug in an external tape device that puts it to an aux output, the standard cassette adapter like you'd use in an older car, it actually sounds really good. So, I don't really know what more to say about the outside of the unit. Now, looking at the device from the front, we've got the handle I previously mentioned, and this nice piano key-like button layout. We've got, starting from the left, record, rewind, fast forward, play, stop, and eject. Now, I'll come back to the eject key because it's kind of funny. First off, when you press the eject key lightly, the door opens, and then when you press it harder, the tape comes out. Starting on the right side, we've got the handle, a volume wheel, which goes from 0 to 10, the AC input jack, which I'm not using because I don't know what connector that is. It's like a small bayonet style, like you'd use for an electric kettle, or some old vacuum cleaners had that. But I don't have any plug like that in my collection. I might have to order one, or I might have to rig something up. Around the back, as I said, we have the feet. And on this side, we have, I guess, the I/O, if you could call it that. We have monitor, which is headphones, or headphone, remote, and mic. And that's all you get. Now, as I mentioned, the remote is for when you have the microphone with the little switch on it. So if you're sitting leisurely, you can just turn it on and off from the remote, and you don't have to press the key every time you want to start and stop the tape. Now, getting back to that eject button, this device has probably the hardest eject mechanism I've ever seen in a tape deck. Let me show you. So when you press this lightly, the door opens, and if you press it harder, the tape rockets out of the machine and lands about 4 to 5 inches away. Yes, it does this every time you eject the tape. Now, one might say, just press the button with less force, but that's almost impossible. See, there's an extremely heavy detent on this button that you have to overcome before it actually ejects. You have to push, 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 and then it snaps, and the tape, like, flies a foot away. Literally, like a foot away. I've never seen anything like this on a cassette deck before. Now, without further ado, let's play some music. The tape you heard at the beginning was this. It's called the Greatest Hits Series, The Best of 50s Rock, recorded in 1987 by Priority Records. This was found inside this device at the recycling center, presumably what the last person was listening to in it, presumably in 1987. I'll be perfectly honest, this tape sucks. It's really, really low quality recordings of doo-wop songs, not performed by the original artists, so it's kind of a Muzak type situation, I think. Like they got a studio band and just recorded a bunch of covers onto a tape. It really sucks. The only tape I was able to lay hands on for some reason was this one that I bought at a thrift store about a week ago, the Beatles' Greatest Hits. Also a really low quality tape, but the sound is actually not too bad. It's got a bunch of different songs on it, mostly older ones. I'm trying to figure out when was this tape recorded, if I can get this to focus here. Not sure. I'm guessing sometime in the 1990s. But we'll put this in and we'll play this as the real tape example, and then I'll switch over to one of these, cassette tape to 3.5mm jack adapters and just play some music off of my computer because I can't seem to find any decent cassette tapes. I think you'll find that the 3.5mm supplied music sounds a lot better than the tapes. I'm not sure if that's entirely because my tapes are just crap, or if there might be something a little bit wrong with the cassette mechanism. As I mentioned earlier, the fast forward and rewind belts are really, slack and perished. So the play belt might be a little bit stretched out, and so the tapes might be a little warbly. I'm not sure. I can't really tell, but I don't really know a lot of this music that's on these tapes, especially the doo-wop one, so I didn't really have anything to compare. As you can hear, playing an analog tape, there is an inordinate amount of hissing. I'm not sure if that's to do with the tape or if that's to do with the mechanism inside. I plan on getting some better tapes, or maybe even recording a couple myself on my better cassette deck and seeing if I can reduce that a little bit. But now I'm going to play you some music using the 3.5mm jack adapter.
Record of the delightful piece they're going to play this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Underwater, time is standing still. You're the treasure.
Obviously, it's no Bose, but it does sound pretty good, especially for what it is. Now, I played a couple different kinds of music so you could hear the variation. Personally, I think it sounds best with playing things with strong mids. Things like classic rock, acoustic rock, folk, singer-songwriter type music with warm vocals. They really seem to shine on this single built-in speaker. Anyway, that's about all. I just wanted to show this to some of my subscribers who might be interested in such things. If anybody has a good guess as to what year this is from or actually knows, please either leave a comment or send me a message. I'd love to know. Anyway, until next time, thanks for watching, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.